Hi. Hi everyone, welcome to Loving Life. And today we have very special, interview. So this is Dwaine and explain a little bit about yourself, who you are and why you're here. Because I'm excited.
Well, I'm Dwaine, and I have spent my whole life assisting people to find, and I mean my whole life. I've done this ever since a kid, so it's not something that I just did since 1999. But I help people move into higher states, higher vibration, this sort of thing. Some people call me the source whisperer because I literally elicit that source within you and help you to come into your own power as a sovereign being. And so that's what I do. And I happen to do it all over the world because with the beauty of Skype, as you know, I have clients everywhere. And I also do tours too. So I go around with different people, with Kelly and Ra, with Maya. Coming up soon here in Vancouver, I'll be touring with Suska, and it's all about increasing consciousness and having human beings become aware of who they truly are.
Thank you for being with us, with me. And I was so excited about it. So yeah, the first couple of questions I have.
Okay.
First, let's connect with this to my issue of losing weight, and
Okay.
then we will go from there to all the other emotional issue. Like we are so disconnected from our emotions and from our internal beings that even when I'm started to talk about emotion and how the fat protects us and how to heal emotions, not by food, because a lot of time me as a child go to the food and everything about that, and I'm so understand that how can we heal our emotional body, how can we incorporate and explain a little bit how fat protects us.
Well, first of all, we have this experience of something fearful, or we don't feel safe, or we don't. There can be all kinds of different triggers to that. And the triggers can be, something happened to us in our past and we haven't dealt with it, and so we keep this protection. Sometimes we don't feel safe, even with our own critic inside. Our critic is criticizing us all the time. And so it's a good idea to get something done, have a session where you remove the critic, right? And you listen to the loving voice inside. I find that it's got nothing to do with food or exercise, ever. It's got everything to do with these protection mechanisms that are protecting us from our environment. A lot of times, what I find is that the empaths have this mostly, because empaths come into this plane of existence, and as soon as they come in, they're plugged into this whole world of feeling the pain of the world and processing that all the time leads us into a feeling of not being safe. So it's a good idea to have sessions to cut that cord off and get free of that, because that isn't the natural way that an empath should be. We're literally plugged in as soon as we come in, right?
Don't we all empath in some
Oh yeah,
everyone has this
Yeah.
ability as a children for sure.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is that being plugged in like that and processing the world's pain leaves you feel like you're unsafe, that you're not in a safe place.
Yeah.
And so you put on the weight to feel safe.
And the plugging started through socialization, as far as that. Socialization. Yes, third language and dyslexia. By the way, yeah, someone is speaking 3 languages, writing 0 to none. Yeah, this is. I know that you have a learning disability or type of learning disability. It was quite exciting. Not exciting, but it was okay. I'm not alone. No, I know that I'm not alone,
Well,
but
the funny
this is,
thing is that a lot of people don't realize that they write me and write me and write me lots of long things, right?
and you
And
can't read it.
and the thing with this is that if they only knew, right? I get to a certain point and then it's just
And it's
I can't even read it. And so, like I say to them, just Skype me, or talk to me because
yes,
yeah,
yes. I can
because
yes,
you know, and especially with these, you notice with these little chats, and different things like that, you're trying to read that,
and
and it
fast,
just gets, yeah,
and it's fast
yeah,
forward. And because I'm dyslexic, my son is dyslexic, my brother is dyslexic, so like I'm into it. But I found that, and I'm talking so openly on my channel, by the way. We're homeschooling our son because of two reasons. One is the socialization. Sorry, I can't.
yeah.
But
No, that's right.
one of the socialization, and the second one because dyslexia. He's dyslexia, and he is, as most of the kids with dyslexia or none, are gifted in something. So the school system put everything on his inability instead on his ability.
Exactly.
So
And you
we
want to know what I found out
Mm.
through my own experience with that is they were never going to let that come off my record because, of course, I would because I was in the school, they'd get extra funding.
Nowadays it's all worse. They don't have funding. It's not. It's considered to be unfundable
Oh, it is now.
now. Like dyslexia, it's unfundable. So he was actually bargained. Actually, when we pulled him out about a year ago, the principal came to help us to go away. It was awesome. And this boy has two Jewish moms. So I lived basically there. That they want, cross this. They were really happy that we're going because he didn't get what he needed to get in the school system.
Right?
So we
Yeah.
pulled him out, and now we couldn't be happy. I was afraid for a couple. Like Regina, my wife, really wanted to pull him since kindergarten. She never wanted, but I said, okay, it's my third language. I'm dyslexic, so how can we do it? And apparently we can do way better than a lot of people because it's project based.
Yeah.
I make like I'm doing it project based, and I'm doing it like much more rounded than it could be ever in the school system per
Yeah.
se.
Yeah.
Yes.
The biggest thing is the self-esteem. I mean, being in a group of people and then being
Oh yeah.
segregated out, that doesn't do good for anybody. So you might as well pull them in, homeschool them, and let him build his own
Shine.
confidence and self-esteem. I've seen people that, clients of mine that, they were deemed learning disabled and all of this and whatever. And I remember this one little girl. It was just the funniest thing. She came in and she said that, the teacher said this, and I says, you know what? I don't know if I believe that.
And she lied.
And yet she lights up.
And she lights up, and it's like, oh my.
So I reached up and I took down one of this great big thick books that I had, and because it was actually a doctor's book. I took it down and I says, now this is a doctor's book. I bet you can read most of what's being said here. So she opens it up and she starts to read, and she describes to me what was being said. Now, she describes to me in her own way what was being said. And it was accurate what she was saying. It was a little bit in her own way of saying it. So what? And I says, that's right. There you go. Look, you just read some of a doctor's book, right? And she's like, oh, again, right? And her mom said she went home and she started reading encyclopedias.
That's what I started with my son. But I'm he's third generation of dyslexic in my family, so I knew how to prepare. But what I usually don't like is learning disability, but I always call it creative ability.
Yeah.
Because this is how it works. Because you need to be creative in order to, survive. Everyone creative, but when you have some disability, you have to be over creative on.
And I flipped it completely. It's not a disability at all.
It's not a disability.
It's actually an advanced ability. And because I want to share with you, when somebody writes something, they like to play with this, and they write something that's backwards. You know what I mean? I can read that as fluently backwards as I can frontwards. If they take the word and then they scramble the middle of it, but the beginning and the end of that word.
I know, it's easy. It's easy, but not for a long time though. At some point I tired from this one too. I found, you know what I found when I was child? I found that if you read white on black, not black on white, it helped me.
Okay, yeah.
Like when you play with the colors, I could read much more if it was white on black and not black on white.
Right.
But yeah, those are techniques. Okay, let's talk about weight loss and how can we take our, how can we heal except of emotional critics, because not everyone, by the way, what is critic in the inside, because not everyone knows your work and what is a critic inside.
Well, the internal critic is something that was developed, like we talked about before, in the sense that it was developed over time, right? So it was developed. We went to school, and we started to worry about people criticizing us. Okay? And once we started to do that, then all of a sudden we had this experience of the critic growing. I mean, everything that we wanted to do, as far as spiritually, or using the full mind, right, which is the God consciousness as well, we started to get judged for that. And we started putting more and more of who we truly are in a box, right? And when we do that, then we develop a critic that criticizes us anytime that we want to go here, right, in this box. And so it criticizes us and slaps us back into what I call, with the blinders on, the societal hypnotic state. And that's actually a hypnotic state. And so the critic sits there, and anytime we start to go over here to this higher spiritual aspect of ourselves, it's slapping us back into this designed program. Does that make sense?
To me, 100%. Another question. Don't you find that socialization and plug-in started with the family a lot of times? With the parents?
Yeah. Well, certainly, because they were socialized, right? And so it's like amateur hypnotists teaching amateur hypnotists, it just starts to happen, right? Where we're a child growing up in a family unit where this is considered normal to live like this, where you've got the blinders on. And as soon as you step out of that, you're called crazy. Okay? And that's even by family, the family thinks that. You know what I mean? They love you and they want you to be, whatever, want to be safe or want to be, but that's this limit that's going on, right?
You have to see, we always call that our superpower in our family, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like we're the weird family, and it's if you Google, by the way, weird, you know that one of the explanations is supernatural. So I think it's just amazing explanation of word weird by definition.
Right.
Weird. So weird. This is nice. Another question about God's consciousness within us, and to be very, in tune with us and how we stay in tune. Because as far as I understand, in the minute you start, like it took me for a long time to get, step by step out of the box. And the thing with my socialization was I was socialized in 2 different countries. And it's a whole new set of socialization, very different one. Because it was still USSR when I was born. So you can imagine the state of mind of there. Then quite religious Israel, which is state of mind different, then to be gay, then to immigrate to Canada, and now I see the socialization here through the eyes of my son, which is different altogether. There is like, some similarities, but it's different. And every time I need to it takes a lot of, within and believe within to step out of all of those boxes that every time on one side you want to fit, but on the other side you feel that it's wrong. So how you can do to step out of your comfort zone, to step
That's
out
the
of
critic.
the
That's the critic.
that's the critic.
Get the critic removed.
How it can be
That's
done?
hmm?
How
Come
can
see
it?
me.
Okay, nice. Are you doing something in Vancouver for this? Like maybe group
No,
session?
I have people can come see me. I do it over Skype like this.
Okay.
But it's complex to try to describe to people how to do it for themselves, because they have to be able to disassociate consciously the whole social programming. They have to disassociate and allow the God within them or the goddess within them to do the work. And so it's not like, here's
Yeah, I know.
here's a wrench, here's your new starter, this is how you
It
put it
never
in.
works like this.
Yeah.
God in within you. How to connect to God and goddess within you.
Well,
So
the
all
thing
of this
is,
stream.
like, again, it's the critic that stops it, right?
Okay.
So we have to be able to understand that goddess is within us, the God is within us,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not out there somewhere. It is, but it's also in here the same. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And to start accessing it, you start wanting to do it, first of all. You start saying, oh, my beloved goddess, that I am, come forth.
Yeah.
You start calling it forward,
Mm-hmm.
right? Again, when we do the activation for that,
Mm-hmm.
there's some steps that we need to take, because it's us that put the god or the goddess in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to bring it out. We have to ask it to come out. We have to have forgiveness. Give forgiveness. Please forgive me for doing this to you. Right? I now take this off and put this on. And there's breathing techniques that we use in order to do that, so that you actually are making a choice to exhale social consciousness and bring up the goddess within. Right? Mm-hmm. And so it all comes down to free will. Period. And you have the free will to bring it forward. That's your divine right. And nothing seen or unseen, above you, below you, in or out, has any right to shift you on that. Now, because you stepped out of so many boxes, right? Mm-hmm. And your critic is hammering on you, mm-hmm. about, come back into the system, come back into, it's like you're taking the mask, and putting the mask on, socialized mask, and taking it off, putting it on, taking it off, and all the time. It's like, okay, I should be doing this, and then, no, this is what I feel good at doing, is being outside of that. And then, I should, and so there's a tremendous amount of torment going on. And you can actually see why you could actually see, if you ended this and just chose, right, mm-hmm. and start feeling comfortable, what would happen?
Yeah. Actually, not anymore. Mm-hmm. Like it was much more before. Now, way less. Now I weigh, especially with my child, when I see how it affects him. Mm-hmm. It was like his birth for our family was this, okay, now we have this child that we don't want to screw with all the social and everyone. And from this moment on, all our choices as a family was always outside of the box, and we never wanted to come back anymore. But it was this moment. By the way, about 2 weeks ago, maybe more, maybe less, I saw your Kelly and activation this segment.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally had something in my feet when I couldn't move forward, and afterwards, and I couldn't go on the earth, But exactly day afterwards, I was, my bare feet in the cold of, it's relatively cold in Vancouver. It's not Edmonton, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like coldish, +6 or something. But I was in the mud, and then I was walking with the mud, with the trees, and so it was like, it was so good,
Yeah.
and it was so awesome, and and everyone like was walking, and I couldn't care less, and it was like amazing. And we have amazing nature here, so you can't beat BC with its nature. So
The thing
yeah,
with this is that everything is a living form. Even the rock, the earth is a living being. It's all this living being.
even computers.
Yeah.
Like you can't go even if it's made by men, like, and we as a society think that okay, plastic or computers or electronics, it's not living thing. I slightly disagree with this because I think it's some source, manifestation,
Of course, because that's how manifestation works.
some kind of.
Is we take it from an idea and we literally lower it in vibration until it becomes mass here. We give it life. We are still the original gods that are giving thought life. Always. So people are wandering around saying, I want to get to this point of enlightenment when they're already doing it every day. And they don't realize it. So it's more a shift of perception than it is anything else. It's a shift of realizing that you are it rather than trying to get it. You're already doing it. Every thought that you have, you bring it in, you mix it with your emotion, you broadcast it out into the future for experience, and then it comes back to you. And then you say, see, I knew I was right. Well, of course you were right. You created
You
it.
created it.
Right?
Yeah, it's like.
And so this is going on all the time. And so it's not about, I have to get this idea or concept in me, or I have to train to do that, or anything else. You know this as as a dyslexic. You know this. It's not about that. It's about just shifting the perception and realizing you are it. That everything, people talk about dimensional shifting and things like this. Well, people dimensionally shift every day. Once you get the fact that you do it every day, then you can become more of that. You can do more of that. But because you're realizing, oh my gosh, I am doing it. It is happening, Like I say, at one point in time in my life, I was around people that love to party. A lot. Okay? I partied a lot. And then something inside of me said I need to make a shift because it was like I could see my destiny there, and it ended very abruptly. And I knew that I had to shift what I was doing. So when I shifted inside of me, my vibration changed, and I went into a more of an area of valuing myself, and left that behind. I don't see those people anymore. I don't know where they are. I left that dimension. And people take that as, oh, well, that's nothing. Well, it's everything. Because everyone's done it, to some degree. You've had certain people that, or certain circumstances or certain realities that you were in, and you shifted your vibration and you left that. Well, you could talk about that a lot. Because you went from here to there to here to there, right?
Oh yeah.
Those are all dimensional shiftings. Because of course you were involved in a reality when you said you were in Israel. Okay, you were involved in a reality in Israel. Okay, that was your reality. And then you made a choice and you went somewhere else. Now you're in a different reality. And so you shifted dimension.
It's interesting because as we progress, we always, we always progress. We always, working and we're always expanding. And I think this is the most, explanatory word. Expanding. Always some explanation of, realities and etc. And I found a couple of things interesting. Then one is that the people that are somehow going away, and sometimes it's with bomb when we choose the tension, and I know, and for sure I know that it's tension. By the way, about 2 weeks ago, and I'm not sure if before or after I saw the goddess activation, I felt like, I think after, like this, that I chose all of this, including my way of pronunciation was like a pre-birth choice. That I chose everything, including how I look, how to communicate, how I communicate, the
Yes.
dyslexia. It was like so vividly, okay, I chose all of this, so now I want to choose something else. And it was like,
So that's the power of stepping into God consciousness, is to own that everything that you did, good, bad, otherwise, you did it because you wanted to. And then that gives you the power to change it. When you say, no, those guys are doing that to me, you just gave them your power. Because if they can do that to you, then they can do it to you again. If
and
you go
again,
and say, no, I did that to me, right? And take for instance, and I know, but I'm going to just share this anyway. You take a situation where an adult and another adult are together and it's abusive. Okay? Okay, that person that's abusive hit you once. Okay? The second time, you just needed to make sure that that was actually an abusive person. By the third time, you're hitting yourself because you're allowing it, right? It isn't that person anymore. It's you doing it to you because there's the door. Get out, right? Get away, right? And then people come up with all these excuses why they can't get away. Well, then you're really doing that to yourself in a sense. There's no victimization. From the higher level, you're choosing that.
experience. The only thing that when I, with people, I found that if I say like you chose it, a lot of times it brings a lot of guilt. Oh yeah, I know I chose it, and a lot of in enlightened communities, there is a lot of guilt going on in between the people. Oh, I'm guilty. Oh, you know what I mean? I chose it, but like instead of moving to okay, I chose it and accept it, and let's move on. People start to feel guilty, and they stuck in this vibration all the time. And a lot of time, what I found like in between my friends and etc. Yeah, I know somewhere that I chose it, but now I feel guilty that I chose it. Now and it's still in all of this vibration all the time.
So you see that as I call them as mind traps.
Mind traps.
The thing with this is that, I mean, ever since the time of Christ, we've had all kinds of guilt, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
Because they nailed him to the cross to shut him up and then put the guilt on human beings. Put the guilt on us. That we killed him. We didn't kill him. They didn't want him to spread the word that God was within you.
But I found it's even before.
And so now people walk around with this guilt. Right? So that guilt program has been put into people. They need to outgrow that. Guilty for what?
Yeah, I found that the guilt and shame, it's two powerful tools that used since zero. And what it's like the most scariest thing in my opinion, that a lot of people do it until now. And I, as a part of local groups, moms groups, whatnot, I see it so much, and it's always like, oh my God, we're already here. Don't put the guilt on behavior. Go to underline emotion of the child. Why in the age of 2.5, his feet throwing a feet in Walmart, but he's 2.5. Obviously, it can be tons and tons, hung, whatever. But why, like he and always he is the bad guy. Like the child is 2.5 years old. How can he be the bad guy in the situation? Like all of those,
And the child could be experiencing empathic abilities and picking up the energy,
What not?
and freaking out about the energy that it's picking up, right?
Of mom, of stressful mom.
Or that.
And a lot of time, most of the time, and the child as a empathic, and the child tries to fix his mom emotions, and I see it a lot of time on my child, because he's empathic and he's very open and out there. By the way, his name is Ariel. And Ariel, like Lion of God, he was born in Israel, so it's like boy name, but his name is Ariel, and he's like yeah, I knew that it's his name. It's just you know what I mean.
Yes.
Just I knew that it is his name,
Yeah.
and he is, and a lot of time I see on him when he tried to fix our emotion, even energetically, and that's what I try to explain to a lot of moms, like that the child can fix a lot of things and he can heal a lot of things, but usually it comes with other emotional outbursts, because instead of you doing this, he gives you the opportunity to be sad or to be to experience those emotions. So basically child makes you good, not the other way around, by embarrassing you in the public. Especially somehow in Vancouver I see this a lot, like the people so much, you need to see the child but not to hear him, and it's very prevalent to this area somehow, because we traveled. We've been in Edmonton this summer, and actually I really loved in Edmonton. I really loved how they like way better energies around the kids. They let them be a little bit more kids than here. Here it's more of restrict a bit more. So yeah, like it's bothers me, but I'm very empathic. By the way, another small moment just need to share. I remember the moment. I was about 5 or 6 years. I was standing outside of the, like it was still USSR, it still was Ukraine, and I put my hand around and I said, okay, from now on I can't heal because everyone told me that I can heal. And it was my choice not to heal people anymore. And it was weird because I remember it so vividly, like this small choice that I made by everything. I can go on and on how the socialization is there, relatively to here. But yeah, it's one of those moments.
So do you want that back?
No, I have it back, partially. I have it back. I did a lot of work. So I have it. Yeah. I was interested.
You want it fully back?
Yes, I do.
Do I have permission to talk to the goddess within you?
Definitely.
Definitely?
Definitely.
How come you're saying no and yes at the same time?
This one? Why I'm saying no? It's not no. It's yes, because this one, for me, I had to, as a child, I had to do a lot of things that I have to be yes man, and for me it's more negative sometimes. The motion is more negative than positive. Let's put it this way. And when I do this one, it's like on the. You know what I see? You want when I'm going. And I find myself, if it physically bothers me and it's make me this, I'm not going to do the motion if it bothers me.
And so I have to ask when I see that.
Yeah, I know. Because
I don't want to.
But that's pretty logical explanation. It's because I had to be yes man all the time.
Yeah.
And you know how Soviet socialization is, and it was the early childhood socialization. That so I always have to do this all the time, and it's like bothers me even. Yeah. On so many levels. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes.
So do you give the goddess within you permission to do something about this?
Yeah. You see? Yeah. You see?
Yeah.
You see? Yes.
Yes. Okay. And do you give me permission to work with the goddess within you?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Right. You see? No, but it comes from here.
Yeah, I know.
When it's not comes from emotion, because my first.
So I have to ask one more question.
Yes.
Does the goddess within you give me permission to work with her?
Oh, so she's excited, bubbling and jumping. Yeah.
And so there was kind of like a commitment you made back when to shut that down, and that was for good reason. At the time,
At the time, yes.
would it be okay if you outgrew that now?
Yes.
It was like a pair of shoes you might have had in grade 8. By the time you were grade 9, those shoes didn't fit anymore. And this agreement you made kind of doesn't fit anymore, does it? You're in a different place now. I want you to take your hands and just put them close together. And as the goddess within you begins to remove that contract that you made back then, just notice how your hands start to feel. The energy in between.
Warm.
Are they getting warmer? I'd like you to take the time to thank the goddess within you for making this shift. What does it feel like to put one of your palms over your heart now?
Colorful.
And one next to your face. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the thing it is that great part of us can do all sorts of things for us if we just ask her, him to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's nice.
Now, what do you think about healing other people? Now,
I love it. I love the idea. Like,
let's send out healing for anybody that's watching. May they find their true nature and come back into their center and realize that they're safe, that they're fine. And they can just simply calm down and come back to the original creation. Whatever they imagine in their mind, they create. And they can do that in a loving way for themselves and change their lives. So be it.
I woke up with terrible throat itch. And now I feel so much better. Like, absolutely incredibly better. Like, I felt like this. And I woke up today, I was like this. Now I totally feel better.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was like, and overnight I was like this. And
Yeah.
now it's awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And you did it.
Thank you. Another thing I want to ask about imagination and how much does this affect us and important to in our lives? Because I found that school system especially, they close your imagination and they don't want you to imagine things, and it's so scary because I think it's one, especially the visual 3D.
If you're in a box, or not in a box, but if you're on this reality that's heading this way and they don't want you to see anything else, they don't want you to use your imagination, right? Because, we're dependent on a lot of things because of this system. And they don't want you to use your imagination and create new solutions. Because then you won't be dependent on this system. I'm going to say something. Why do you think that they're going after all the free people in the world? Why do you think that we have these beautiful beings that used to live free in the wilderness on reservations? Because they don't want this to get out, that you can actually be outside of this box. It's slowly coming into this. Okay? And so imagination works against that whole matrix. Because when you can step outside and imagine your own solution, and this is what I do mostly with people, is to help them imagine their own solution. One of my original teachers said, human beings don't have problems, they just have a lack of imagination. And that's starting right there in the system. Because, of course, in order to be they're training everybody to be a worker, basically. And so you don't want to be using your imagination at work, would you? You know. I see a lot of this with people. They shift quickly. They become free quickly. And all because the imagination, I help them to open up to their imagination again. Their imagination is actually a portal to other realities.
Exactly. What I think too.
So this is one reality that we're being convinced of. You know, I work with thousands of people in my life, and each one of them come in, and they all have individual reality. This one is more effective at this, and this one isn't as good at that. You know what I mean? It's all variances, right? But they will all claim there's one reality. They will all insist that there's only one reality, and there isn't. It's multiple realities. We're being convinced that there's one reality. Outside of that reality, everyone has flexibility to whatever they want to create in their world.
An experience.
Yeah. So some people wake up in the morning and they hear that damn bird squeaking outside, waking me up, right? And the next person hears, oh my goodness, that bird sung me awake this morning. What a delightful thing. Two different realities in what would seem to be the same reality. You know, they all get up in the morning, they all go down to their car, and they all go to work. But you can have there's separate realities in that. And what we have to bring back to people is their own ability to have their own reality. That it's okay to have your own reality amongst what's going on in the world. Because that's the only thing that's going to change it, is we come back to our sovereign right to create our own reality. We really are free beings like that. We need to utilize our imagination.
You know what I found about the imagination and out of the box? When we started to do our mukbangs with my family, and I tag it as a gay family mukbang, and we lost about 300 subscribers, give or take, which I said, adios. But now we're getting twice as much, but not this what I wanted to do. I don't have a lot of negative comments on my, almost zero negative comments relatively to quite an issue, especially with a child. Like it's I get them here and there, and I understand it's because we come from such a open sharing place, an educational place, that we could get the backlash, and a lot of people, especially gay people, got, you just need to read the comments. It's scary what is going on. But we have such a overwhelming positive that those, small, it's even irrelevant, those small voices, and they're getting less and less, while our subscriptions and viewers are more and more, which is interesting because, it's like, it's spacious. It feels spacious. That's what I'm trying to say.
This is also changing within you.
Definitely.
You also came to a point inside you where you stopped arguing with the haters and you started loving the ones that love you.
Yes, definitely.
And so then that changes your reality. All of a sudden, the haters go away.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were filming in shopping mall. We were eating and doing like, and we are like out there, okay? Like we can come across as very intense sometimes because our socialization in Israel was a little bit different than Vancouver, Northern. But yeah, but we're like outside and talking and talking and talking. And there are a couple of kids that, obviously it's outside, it's, everyone can see that we are talking and talking and talking. And some kids were like playing. After we stopped, like, are you YouTubers? Are you this? And my son actually felt uncomfortable a bit because it's like, I think, second or third time that we're filming outside. And afterwards, he went to talk with them, and they were so like, "Oh, how cool is this? And you have your own channel." I said, "Yeah," and he has like his own channel when he eats bizarre food, and because yeah, he eats like absolutely bizarre food. Because in my house we eat good, organic, normal food, no junk. So for relative to Canadian kids, he eats bizarre food, which is ridiculous. Like he can eat chicken hearts and like livers he doesn't like, but all of those, and he tries and he's like, oh, it's so good, blah blah blah. This is just 8 years old. He was like a year ago did the video. It was so hilarious. So yeah, and he was talking and he came back and went, oh, okay, so they didn't want to judge me basically. They just wanted to talk to us to be part of the experience. And I said, yeah, they actually wanted to be part of the experience because it looks so cool.
Yes.
So it was just yesterday.
Okay.
So like we're coming in a much more positive place each day it goes, and it's absolutely by choice. And yeah,
Exactly. It's choice. What we do in here becomes out there. So if we're inside here, we're fighting with the haters. We're going to get more haters. It's a fight. And as soon as you just go, you know what? In me, this is right. In me, this is what I love. This is who I love. If you like it, good. If you don't, whatever. And just be the love. And then all of a sudden inside, it just all changes, right?
what I find about love, let's say, when you say, be the love or experience, everyone expect you to passionately love something, even the hater or something. But I found it's not the passion, it's the openness. So the love, like the true love, it's okay. Everyone can be whatever they want to be, and it's much subtler than everyone expects it to be. When because sometimes when people say, "Oh, you need to be love," but no one says how. And I found that you need to be just to give the space.
Yeah, it's a funny thing that because be the love. Sometimes love is
Yes.
valuing yourself, so you step away from certain things to love who you are. Sometimes to be loved is to have compassion for somebody. Sometimes to be loved, the best thing to do would be to allow that person their suffering because they don't listen to anybody, or they don't want to listen to. So you love and allow them to be who they are. But you're not affected.
To respect the choice that for this moment, this is the best choice with the resources that the person have.
Yeah.
And I found this is the hardest part, because a lot of time when you see this passionate love, you need to change someone and you want to change it, and it's not about to change someone else. It's just allow to be and allow to experience what they chose to experience relatively to what you choose to experience.
Exactly. So loving and allowing all people to be who they are is activating what I call the law of free will. So when you're good at that with yourself, loving and allowing all people to be who they are.
Yes, that's what I found.
Then what happens is that a gift happens to you because you actually love and allow yourself to be who you are.
I think that it was the first step to allow to me to be who you are, who I am, and then it goes to, because I'm not if I'm uncomfortable inside myself, a lot of time it will reflect outside in relationship.
It goes back and forth. But yes, some people that are this works with some people who are very, very judgmental external, and so when they love and allow all people to be, then they love and allow themselves. Right? Somebody who's already automatically loving and allowing to themselves inside, right? Well, then they would see the value of loving and allowing everybody else out there, right? So it goes back and forth. Right?
Did you find your tribe in real life? No, not online. Because I found it's much easier to connect for me online than in real life, and a lot of time I still really can't, really find my tribe here.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to find a tribe?
I don't know. I haven't found I've been kind of a lone wolf. I don't...
yeah, I found it with a lot of enlightened people, but I'm trying to find those enlightened people and to bring them to, to be the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found that we are as a family, we are like always, and I found that most problematic in the find the tribe in our case, because we're always expanding and always finding a new way of being in, always the choose. And then even if we have some relationship, it's always, we'll go like, no one comes, like, you know what I mean? It's not, it was never decision to come all of us, and
yeah. And I don't know what to say about that, because I'll talk to somebody and they'll say, well, there's no one in my city that's evolved, and I go, really?
It's not true.
I have 15 clients in your city.
But
there's
some
people there. Oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that isn't for some reason happening. Right? But I mean, we've got to look at it in a couple of different ways. Maybe it's a good thing we don't all clump up, right?
Yes.
Because but we can clump up online.
Yeah, we'll do it. Actually,
we're doing it all the time, right? Yeah. And then out there, we get to be these beacons here, there, that's spreading that. I don't know if that's what it is. That could be what it is.
Yeah, it could be. Because sometimes I feel I have those meaningful conversation and meaningful, interactions, but they usually sum up to interactions and not to, to friendship, like continuation. It's more like interaction here, interaction there, and it's interactions. That's what I'm lucky that I have my family, and I'm lucky that I have, my son and our snake. Yeah, out of all the animals in the world, obviously, we have to have snake as a pet. You feel me? Yeah, like it's out, because and my son, and we came, like, he was afraid of small animals because he was bitten by monkey, blah blah blah. So the only animal that he connected right away, it was this ball python.
Oh yes.
So now we have this, ridiculously smart ball python that talks to us and, that communicates, and she's like this amazing animal.
I heard about that one time. There was a fellow that I knew. He was actually an old Hell's Angel, right?
Mm-hmm.
An older man, and he had a python. And he was describing to me that python used to communicate to him so much. And it was very subtle, but it was...
It's subtle.
Subtle, but it was very, very... He had quite the communication. He was describing it. It was a delightful story to listen to. Him and his relationship with his python.
It's amazing. Like, she came, and her name is Lucky, obviously.
Huh?
Lucky is the snake.
Yeah.
She's like Lucky, yeah. Lucky the snake. So yeah, she's amazing. She's not big. She's not going to be big. It's a ball python. They are, up to 5 feet. Hopefully less, but we'll see. She's pretty young.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's like very different, because I grew up with animals, dogs and whatnot. But it's absolutely all set of, mindset. It's absolutely different.
Yeah.
When you have snake, it's like, and you understand that this manifestation was chosen too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, like it's interesting how, the movement and how she does and everything. So yeah, it's nice.
They talk about the fact that that this is the living library, planet Earth, and that we have all the different species and we have all the different fauna, plants, and everything kept here because of different worlds. And like, you have different worlds that have where the being that is in the highest consciousness, right, is different on different worlds. So you can have cat people, you can have mantis beings, you can have, you know what I mean? You can have pythons as being, or snakes being the, right?
Yeah.
And they would just, and there's so many different representatives of that here.
Can you talk about dimension a little bit? Dimensions?
Sure.
Because a lot of people think that it's out there, which I'm not so agree with the concept of out there.
When you shift a perception here, you change dimension. So if you shift a perception of what your life is now, like what your life is, you're actually shifting into a different dimension. Understanding the dimensions, all of them are here, right? And are accessible, and you can shift from one to the other as long as you can let go
of the other, of the one.
Of the other. People like to have 1 foot in this dimension, 1 foot in this dimension. Well, that doesn't work. You've got to let go. Now, everything, a lot happens when you shift dimension here. Is that everything that you thought was in the box shifts. Your belief system. What if you go from 3D belief system to 5D belief system? Well, you have to let go of the 3D belief system of lack. Okay? And step into the 5D concept that all is. All is at this moment. Right? And so in 3D, we say we have to travel from here to there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In 5D, where are they? I can be here
there,
and I can be there at the same time. You see me 3D here, energetically you can feel me there. Yeah. Right? So you can be in two different places at the same time, but in 3D they say that that's an impossibility. Well, that's a belief system. That's all that is. And you get to be right no matter what you believe. So there's a lot we need to take a look at when we shift dimensionally. Now, you notice we didn't talk about 4D, because 4D, from everything that I have learned, is full of corruption. It's full of all sorts of different kind of funny things. You want to go through 4D into 5D, right? Because it's kind of the density that holds us in 3D.
It's the, yeah.
It's a funny cowboy, that 4D. But you want to go through 4D, and I'm only using this as a metaphor. You want to go through 4D and into 5D. And you can bring 5D here. Now, if you notice all the old shamans, right, they go to whatever dimension, but they bring that dimension here. That's what they call grounding.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about grounding into this dimension. You got to get grounded. Well, they're talking about cutting off from here and being here.
Yes.
Right? But the ancient peoples didn't do that. The shamans don't do that. The elders don't do that. They go here and they bring it here. So they're seeing multidimensionally here, and they're grounding it here. And they're very confident in it.
So I have been asked a couple of times, okay, give me what is going to happen to me in the future. And I never do. because I always say, okay, you never can predict the future because you decide for the person how, like a lot of time, or you can see some by today's choice what they're going to do, but never never what they actually will do, or they can, change this choice or.
In 1 second, a person can have a shift in vibration here and the whole future changes. Okay, so what are you going to do with that as far as reading that? You can't read that.
Exactly. So I never and I have people before ask me, "What do you see? Like, can you read me?" And I said, "I'm not going to. Even though I can read by those choices for today, you are going to do this and this and that, and this is what is going to happen, but only by choices that you made today.
Yeah.
In the 2 seconds, you will choose something else, and it's going to. But a lot of time, if you say to person, so somehow it sets his mind on this particular choice, which I think it's absolutely wrong to do. Like it's even unethical to to
So
do
if
it.
everybody manifests their own reality here,
Yeah.
and you say to them, okay, I'm going to predict what you're going to do. You're going to do this, this, and this, and this. Now here's the catch: if they don't like what you said, they're going to go inside and have an energy about that of push away. Now push away is going to cause them to focus on it more, and they're going to get it. If they like what you say, then they're going to play with it and they're going to get it. But the truth is that neither one of those was their own.
That's what I'm thinking. That's I always say, no, I'm not going to predict. Even though I have those abilities, by which I mean it's never abilities. It's always, just to see where you, vibrationally now and when you are going. But I don't. I think it's just.
I have noticed this big shift in people doing readings lately, where they're looking at it this way. They're looking at it at this present moment, the way you are now. This is what I see. But if you make this shift right now, I can see you doing this. So and there is a plethora of choices.
But it's only two choices.
No, I said plethora.
Plethora, yeah, no.
Okay. There's a plethora that you can choose from as to what you want to do in this present moment to go where you want to go. So where do you want to be?
I love this idea, like, let's talk, let's open up, let's, let's talk about what.
And they say, well, I want to be here. Okay, so now, what would that look like if you were there now? What would it sound like, feel like? And then they change their vibration now in their body, and poof, now they're manifesting. Right?
But by the way, we're going to 47 days to Hawaii in later this year.
Good.
It's about the
yeah,
manifestation, and it can be done. It can be done, and those manifestations, even though I found it feels subtle, the truth, and it feels spacious and subtle, and the negativity, it's loud and here in your face. Like we can sometimes come across as very intense and loud and in your face, but it's actually child one told me that he was about 8, not mine, someone's. He said, "Oh, Victoria, it's not. It's okay. She's loving everyone, so it's not. It's okay. It's not considered to be." It was like, "Oh my God, this is the. It was one of the most those moments. Okay, so." You know what I mean? Like it was.
Yeah.
And when the child speaks, it's always like in my mind. It's always the best thing that you can get. Like one kid told me, "You have the bestest cake ever."
Oh.
She was 5 or something. It's the amazing thing that can be bestest cake ever.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Yeah.
So I think we're. Oh my God, more than an hour I am holding you here, and thank you for the best birthday present ever. Actually, today is my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with me and with us. And if you have questions, can I address, if you have an interesting question, can I ask you and you will answer the question?
Sure.
Here in the video, writing part.
Yeah,
okay.
If you just
let
me know that there's a question, then I can answer that, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us and for with me. Thank you for this. Let me know when you are in the Vancouver area and what you are going to do here.
Okay.
Maybe some workshops or something.
Well, I know that also, as well, Maya and I are coming to Vancouver. She's just written her book. It's called Echoes of a Star Traveler. And so she's doing a book signing the day before, and then we're doing a workshop as well at that bookstore. And
Where?
so we'll be coming to Vancouver.
Okay.
I didn't have that information handy here to share with you, but we can. You can spread it if you wish when I give you the exact bookstore and the date.
Okay.
I know that that's been chosen, so yeah.
Okay, and it's in Vancouver itself.
In Vancouver.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Including parking, please.
Yeah.
We need the information including parking.
We're headed off. We're going to be in Venice, California, on the 19th of March. We'll be there for her book signing and doing the workshop, and then after that, we're going to be in Vancouver.
Okay.
And we'll be and then Toronto, and then it's all over. So yeah.
I've never been on the other side. The further we get, it's Drumheller.
No, you went to Drumheller, did you?
We went this summer. We went for 47 days. My parents came to Calgary. We drove from here to Calgary, took them, did all of this, the Banff Jasper Icefield Parkway. It's the second time that we are doing as a family, but my parents and my brother came from Israel. So we did it with us, then Edmonton, then Drumheller, then Dinosaur Park, then we brought them to Calgary again, and they flew home. And we head down the BC, the Nelson, and all of this scenic route. We did all of this to home. It took us 37 days or something. All of it. And we trying to do almost every year some kind of this huge trip. We did it down the coast the year before, and this year we wanted Big Island. I had no idea, but one of the names of Big Island is the Healing Island in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we're going there, and because he's homeschooled, so we don't need to do it just in summer.
Yeah.
So it's always benefit, and price-wise and a lot of things. It's just benefit.
Good.
So yeah, thank you so much. It was absolutely marvelous, and thank you. And if we have questions, I will refer. And if we have a lot of questions, maybe someday you will come back to my channel.
Sure.
Maybe.
And they can find me at innerbalancehypnotherapy.com.
I'm your friend on Facebook.
You're your friend. You're my yeah.
I'm your friend on Facebook, so it's easier.
Okay.
Facebook is visual. I will share my photo of my snake with you later today or tomorrow or something, because you need to see her.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
All right.
So yeah, see you next time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and you don't forget to subscribe to his channel as well, his Marvel's channel. And once a week you do.
I do
webinars, so they're free. In description box below, I'm going to leave all the info from your webinars channel. So yeah, subscribe to him, subscribe to me. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.